Take the photo. Okay.
Today, good morning everyone. My greetings to His Majesty the King of the Zulu Nation, Royal Highness, present, His Holiness SWAMI Padmanabhananda, the General Secretary of the Divine Life Society in Rishikesh, India, Mr. Ramlutchman, who is the founding trustee of Mitchell Park Trust, Mr. Mulchan, Mr. Garth, that is also present here, Joanne, that takes care of the park and the zoo, you can come forward, and our respected Swamis present, dear friends and children that are gathered here today. Today marks a historic occasion when we have His Majesty come here to Mitchell Park for the first time, and when we have just unveiled this education center that is named after Swami Shivananda and His Majesty the King. His Majesty has always promoted how to keep our nature intact and how to preserve and protect our nature and our natural environment together with wildlife. And we stand proud here today with His Holiness and Bayete Sangalom Tabati, because this is a new beginning to reach out to all our citizens, to educate them in going out and promoting our rich heritage that we have. We can do without consumption of food, water, but when it comes to our environment, we have to protect that in order to sustain ourselves. And His Majesty had been going all over KZN promoting education, and today Bayete Sangalom Tabati, we feel so proud that we could honor Bayete by calling this center Shivananda King Goodwill ZWELITHINI Kabeko Zulu Education Center. This is really a milestone, and later in the year we will also be installing a monument to highlight also those that have contributed towards nature conservation and wildlife. And we'll also have the bust of His Majesty also installed here, and all the sayings that would encourage our youth to preserve and protect our environment. I'll now read the plaque that is unveiled. The Shivananda King Goodwill ZWELITHINI Kabeko Zulu Education Center was officially opened by His Majesty the King Goodwill ZWELITHINI Kabeko Zulu, His Holiness SWAMI Padmanabhananda, the General Secretary of the Divine Life Society in Rishikesh, India, and Mabaga, founder of the Shivananda World Peace Foundation, the 17th October 2017. I'd like the head of parks, Mr. Tembi Ngobo Mapoloba, to please come forward and to say a few words. Actually, by Sangalom Kabati, we must also thank Mapoloba for actually coming on board and working with us to ensure that we achieve what we want to achieve here at this park.
Bayete, His Majesty, our king, my king, members of the royal family that are here, our friends, our staff members that are here. Today for us is a very special day because again we have another opportunity to pay our due respect to none other than His Majesty. His Majesty has done a lot of work not only among his own people, but throughout his reign he has been able to reach out to other racial, religious, and different types of groups. And that for us is exemplary. And therefore of the view that not even a square meter of this land would be complete in terms of narration of its history without a mention of his name. We therefore thought befitting that we should have, together with our friends, this that we're opening today, this institution, which is going to serve a very important purpose, but also at the same time to safeguard and teach the future generations about the legacy of His Majesty. His Majesty was deeply honored that you allowed us to use your name, and this for us says a lot as your subjects, as people that are available, as your soldiers on the ground, to serve and ensure that His Majesty's visions are realized in his lifetime. Thank you.
Well, I was not actually informed that going to be so many people. I thought I was just asked to come and do the unveiling only. But I'm so grateful to see that most of our people in this part of Durban, they are very much concerned about the interest of nature conservation. We are living in a very challenging time, ladies and gentlemen. What Ishwar Ramlutchman has been done, combined with Holiness team, and they are teaming up, working together with Durban municipality to restore some of the things when independence of African countries 50 years ago have been so destructive in creating so many problems in their own nature reserve. We as South Africans, in the center of Durban, I know there is a small game reserve here in Durban. I don't know whether it's still there, but I think if people of Durban are still taken care of, it's still there. It is of interest of our grandchildren, those that have never seen indigenous animals, should be taken through to come and see what we have that God has placed us in our hands and to take care of it. Today, we are troubled by the poachers of rhino. Rhino in Africa, it's business if it's alive. For those that are touring in our continent, they don't come with empty hands. They come in with bulks of money to purchase whatever is taking them through to those nature reserves that we have, with what is produced by our people with their hands. But now, because people want to get quick richer. They are so destructive. They are so destructive. By keeping people that are coming to kill and shoot at the rhino, which is very bad for us. Because there is no other continent in the world that still got an indigenous rhino of its own country, except us here. There are so many endangered species that we've been warned about, that we need to stop. That's why I came up with a fair material that is coloring and colored and painted like a leopard, so that I should teach my people. Just recently, I've sent people to England, to Wales, about 80 people in August. I gave them, they were warriors. I said, listen here, I just want the British to see what is important that is within the Zulu monarch, is to keep endangered species. He has come up with this type of material that his warriors should be wearing traditionally to save the leopards in our country. Because the destruction that is there, it's not just ending at the leopards and in rhino today. You won't believe that in Africa today, another animal that is endangered species is giraffe. Only 30,000 that is living in Africa. Tell me, how many do we have in South Africa now? Right. Let's look at these small animals here. That our children are just being taken through to come and look and see. And how many people can come to see what Durban has kept? Tell me how much this park can make if some people made a small center where people can make Zulu art and craft in small, artifacts that they can take it in their suitcases. How many people you can engage them to reduce or either to combat poverty in Durban itself? Because it's no use to keep something of this nature if there is nobody closer to producing anything that is in here that somebody can buy and take it and tell his people in his own country that what I've seen, that is what people are keeping. You need to advertise yourself. If you are not advertising yourself, you'll stay poor. It's just like those people that when the government is purchasing the land, paying so many billions, 90 billion, that our government has spent, but no one has checked whether even 1 billion has been paid out with what our government has paid to purchase the land for the people to produce food. Instead of producing food, they are squattering. Those are some of the things that we need to combine when they come here, the overseas people, from any continent in the world. They must find something in here and be told to go around and see what Zulu Natal here. They must be driven through here and find themselves being in those parts of KwaZulu Natal with our nature conservation, with our museums, with our history. Our history as Zulus is not a history without whites. Doesn't matter what color creed they are. Without Indians. Doesn't matter what beliefs they believed in whatsoever. Christians, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islamic. As a Christian, I think we need to look at ourselves as human beings that could develop this province. We cannot develop this province if we've got differences that doesn't help anyone. We need to develop this. So the nature reserves and nature conservation as this park, please, I advise you, make sure that there is some people whom actually could do some Zulu artifacts, Indian artifacts, white artifacts, that can make money to maintain this place. Don't look at Durban municipality. Don't look at them. Just act as yourself. Don't act as you know that there is somebody that is supporting you. Don't do that. I'm begging you. So I've let my name to be used here. So, and then His Holiness SWAMI PADMANABHANANDA has actually been part and parcel of this. Let's make use of it. I didn't know this place. I knew that there are few parks in Durban. I know. But now, with you yourself being an experienced person in the municipality, I hope you are going to consider what I came up with and tell the mayor and the political party. They mustn't look at what the Zulu King has said, but they must look at what the Zulu of the province King has said. For the interest of the people of all colors, of all different cultures, who are living together in this part, and then to develop this area in a manner that is productive, and then to make people to earn something when they visit here. They must buy some small artifacts. I hope you'll take this through. I will follow you. God bless you.
My salutations to everyone. I'm very happy to be with His Majesty to be a part of this project of conservation of nature. Here, the flora, the wonderful flora, this country, South Africa, has the good fortune to have a very good flora. I too hail from a country, especially on the equatorial region, where everything is very green. So whenever I come to South Africa, I feel I'm in my home, probably the second home. And I love this flora. I love the fauna here. And the flora and fauna are not independent of us. We are part and parcel of the flora and fauna. We are interdependent. The flora is dependent. The Mana is dependent, and we are also dependent, and there is a mutual dependence. So it is imperative on everyone here, every citizen, that we protect the environment. And if we protect the environment, indirectly we are protecting the humanity. So I appreciate Your Majesty is taking interest in this, and I appreciate very much Ishwar Ramlutchman and the administration of the municipality is taking interest in protecting the environment. And I pray to God, I pray to Supreme Almighty to bless all of you so that you can continue this good work. Hari Om Tat Sat.
Come in buses, and you know it's so unsafe. Those of you who live around there, you know how difficult it is to get space to come in here. But also at the same time, as His Majesty said, there are a lot of animals that we have here. Crocodile even, I think it's 105 years old now. So it's part of our heritage. And it has been very difficult for us to teach, especially school kids, about the heritage, the treasure that we have here, because we didn't have the facilities. Now that His Majesty has allowed us to use His good name to attach to this facility, we'll be able to have school kids when they come in here to bring them inside this building, where they will be taught from A to Z about what we have here, and also about the nature, the resource that we have in the city and the importance of keeping this for future generations. So that is the importance, His Majesty, of this facility. And we can't thank you enough for allowing us to use His Majesty's name in order to send the messages that we want to send out to the country. Together with our friends who made a sterling contribution to ensure that this happens, we thank all of them on His Majesty's behalf.
Lord, we appreciate this partnership and the friendship